Hello everybody, CritCrab here with another story, this one about a local game store that tried to use microtransactions and pay-to-win mechanics in TRPGs. Roll post. TLDR, my local game shop owner tried to get me to sell pay-to-win mechanics in an RPG and let his own players completely abuse the system. So about a year ago now, I get a message on Facebook from my local game shop owner. He says that he's working on a new RPG system that he hopes to publish at some point in the future, and he's looking for GMs to run playtest campaigns at the shop. He also promises incentives for running a game, such as in-store credit and a free copy of the rulebook whenever it gets printed. I had met the game shop owner a few times before, and I had been shopping at his store for a few years. Not to mention, I was looking for a local gaming group, so I thought I'd give it a shot. I go to the store the following Friday and meet with him a couple of hours before we are supposed to be having our session 0, which, for the campaign, was just going to be having the players make their characters and having the owner tell us about the campaign setting. He and I sat down at the table and he gives me a paper version of the rules and starts to explain the game and the world to me. It sounds like a fun system, and the setting is really cool too. To describe it without going way too in-depth, it's sort of a take on AD&D with XP buying instead of a leveling system, reworked magic, and a steampunk setting. It is after we go over the rules that things start to go south. So after a quick overview of the rules and setting, the store owner then tells me about how he's hoping to use the game system to make RPGs more profitable for game stores, which I think is a fine idea until he tells me how he plans on doing it. He told me about a new token system that is being implemented into his game. The way this token system works is that a player would pay $5 for 3 tokens, which they would receive from a vending machine, like one of those little capsule toy machines you see in malls. Each token is essentially a small poker chip that could have various game-altering things written on it. These could range from mundane game items like torches, magical items like a +2 sword, or even meta things like an automatic nat 20 or making the DM re-roll. He also tells me that I will get $1 of in-store credit for every token that is bought while I'm DMing. I tell him that I don't think it's a good idea, but he insists that I give it a shot and see if the players like it, so I reluctantly agree. To keep this story from getting too long, over the course of the next few weeks I run my game, but I never encourage people to buy tokens because it feels scummy for me to do so and because I don't want random loot ruining my campaign balance. I eventually disband my group because of scheduling issues anyway, so I really avoided having any real problems. The real horror story part of this comes from when I joined the game shop owner's campaign. I sit at the table with my freshly made character and see that one of the other players has what looks to be over 100 tokens on the table in front of him. I then notice that several other players have at least 40 or 50. We start to play the session and I realize that everyone has incredible gear. I'm talking like +3 armor and weapons in addition to wondrous items. And that pretty much any time anything doesn't go their way, they just throw tokens at it to make it a success. There was literally a time a person used an auto crit and 2 double damage tokens to kill a boss in one hit. It was like a bizarre nightmare where the worst sort of pay-to-win mechanics had escaped video games and entered the tabletop space. To be fair to the game shop owner, he was trying to work the system into something not as broken, but it really isn't much better now than when he first implemented it. I still play in the group occasionally just to see how the system is developing, and I really hope that he eventually just drops the token system completely. End post. Now, I know what you're thinking, but wait, you don't understand. These microtransactions and pay-to-win scenarios were only added to give the players a sense of pride and accomplishment. Come on. Who else here is thinking that this guy is secretly trying to land a job at EA and practicing his horrendous, out-of-place, pay-to-win microtransaction skills? Seriously, I mean, what's next? Are they gonna start stapling banner ads to their GM screens? Why stop there? They could easily start rolling ads in the middle of D&D sessions. Dark Lord Jigadick emerges from his haunted portal, erupting in evil laughter. He raises his scythe. But before he charges into battle, he cries, "You can never defeat me, adventurers, or at least, not without the power of H-Fuel. Return to me once you have visited the far-off land of hfuel.com and slash your prices in half by using code EVIL for a 50% discount. Jokes aside, I sympathize. A lot of game stores are struggling out there, what with the virus floating around, sure, but also because D&D is very hard to monetize, especially locally. Need minis? Hero Forge does it better than any overpriced local game store could. Need the player's handbook? Not really. There are several apps and websites with entire compendiums of references and knowledge, but even if you really need it, Amazon sells it at a far better price. And that's not even counting the people who pirate it or just receive it secondhand. Basically everything D&D related can be found better or cheaper online, but the best parts of D&D are completely free. I guess what I'm saying is, I understand why game stores feel the need to find ways to monetize, but this is the furthest thing from the right way to do it. Anyway,